I'm Cale Brown. This is my wife, Melissa Brown. This is the KNES 3850 video presentation. So the injury that I've decided to do is the lateral collateral ankle sprain, grade 2. What the grade 2 means is it is an incomplete, not a complete tear of the ligament, and the ligament that we're talking about here is the deltoid ligament, which lies just on the lateral aspect of the ankle here. So along with the incomplete tear, you'll see swelling and bruising as well. So it's also called an inversion sprain, and we'll kind of get into the motions here, but how that sprain happens is while your ankle is in plantar flexion, it undergoes supination and abduction, meaning it's adding it to your body coming this way. So plantar flexion, supination, abduction, so it's also an inversion motion of the ankle, and that results, as you can already feel the deltoid ligament really tightening up here, and over use of that or over exaggeration of that can cause that tear there. So healing timelines for introducing exercise, the healing timelines at first are the inflammation phase, which can be, it's really dependent on the injury. It can last 3 days, or it can go from 0 to 2 weeks in there. But in that phase, the main focus is pain management, edema swelling, and joint mobilization for the grade 1 to sprains. So kind of just really basic joint mobilization, nothing drastic. So then from there we go into the proliferation phase, and we're going to split that into two, the early and later proliferation phase. In the early proliferation phase, it can be about 3 to 6 weeks. Again, these are just numbers for a guideline, but it's individualized to the injury. But in that early proliferation phase, we're going to be working on range of motion, mostly passive, and then introducing active near the end of the early phase, and then early muscular endurance that comes along with those range of motion exercises. And in this phase, it's really important that there's no pain during the movements. We're taking everything slow and gradual, because pain will just make it worse, obviously. So then it's the later proliferation phase. It's a guideline of 6 to 12 weeks. In that area, we're looking for full range of motion and full weight bearing on the joint or on the injury, on the foot in this case, with no pain. We're looking for strength to be up to where it was before, normal strength, normal proprioception, basically getting geared up to go into functional sport-specific activities. And then in the remodeling phase, 8 to 16 weeks roughly, depending on the injury again. But in there, you're looking for proper performance, functional exercises, return to full participation with no pain. Just really, that's the last step before you're fully back into the swing of things. But in that phase, we're really hitting it hard, really stress testing, if you will. And yeah, so we'll get into the rest here. All right, so for the purposes of this video here, Alyssa's ankle sprain is going to be roughly, let's say, 10 weeks-ish. So right kind of in the early proliferation phase to kind of on the cusp of hitting later proliferation phase. So for the first exercise, we're going to look at range of motion, and the first exercise is going to be air ABCs with the injured foot, which is looking at active range of motion and kind of getting the range of motion back to where it was before. So I'll just change the camera angle here and go over some of the goniometer measurements. So we will start, I'll just use this foot here. So it's not great actually, because we need to have your ankle dangling. So maybe put that pillow under your leg, if that'll help it dangle. Sit back. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So looking at plantar flexion first, we're going to measure all the ranges of the ankle here. So plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, inversion, eversion. Normal values for plantar flexion and dorsiflexion should be about plantar should be about 50 degrees and dorsal should be about 20 degrees. So we're gonna go ahead and put the fulcrum on, just let me orient myself here. Put the fulcrum on the lateral malleolus here. The top arm is gonna line up to the fibular head. Don't know if you can see that. So we're gonna try to line that up with the fibular head, which is kind of up back here. And then when Alyssa plantar flexes, I'm going to hold it with 2 fingers here like this. When Alyssa plantar flexes, we want to see what the value is that is kind of hovering lateral to the 5th metatarsal here. So go ahead and push down with your foot like that. So with that in mind, Alyssa is sitting pretty much bang at 50, maybe 51 degrees, which is the normal range. Obviously, we'd expect a little less with an ankle injury, so let's say maybe about 35, 40 at this stage in the game. So I'm going to grab your other ankle now, or your other foot to go on the medial side. So just have this ankle dangling. So now with dorsiflexion, you know what? I didn't actually need to do that. We're going to go right back here and keep it here. So for I got ahead of myself. So for dorsiflexion, keeping it in the same spot, fulcrum at lateral malleolus, up top arm at the fibular head. And I just want you to bring your dog here. Just want you to bring your ankle up towards you. And same thing. We're looking, normal is about 20 degrees. So we're going to take a look at that here. And we're looking roughly at about, sorry, let me write this here. We're looking at about 16, so that's not full. Yeah, about 15, 16, which is actually, we might see a little less with this injury, but yeah, that's looking not bad there. So then now I'll get you to switch positions maybe for okay, so now looking at inversion and eversion, same thing. We're going to place the middle of the fulcrum here right in the middle of the lateral and medial malleolus. So as so here, the top arm is going to go right along the tibial crest. And sorry, just go neutral for a minute. All right, and then the bottom one is going to be measuring just parallel with the 2nd metatarsal. So now I just want you to invert. So bring your foot like this for me, as far as you can go. That's pretty far, actually. So Alyssa actually has really good flexibility there. So we're actually looking at about maybe 30. Actually, you know what? We're looking at about 40, which is slightly above normal. Normal for inversion is about 35 degrees. So like I said, for this injury, we're probably not going to see that. But Alyssa has really flexible ankles. So then evert, so go the other way for me. And same thing, we're going to have it right in the middle of the lateral and medial malleolus and going right over that 2nd metatarsal there. And we're looking at about 15, which is actually, yeah, about 15, which is actually the normal range for eversion. So the reason we would be targeting the active ABCs with her foot, the air ABCs with her foot, would be to work on those ranges. Obviously, those numbers are pretty good because Alyssa doesn't have a sprained ankle, but if she did, we would see those ranges lower, and then using those ABCs, we can use this goniometer, as I showed you there, to measure the values to see if we're getting anywhere and moving in the right direction. So the air ABCs with your feet, just working on kind of all, you're hitting plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, eversion, inversion, so good exercise for that. So that's kind of why we would choose that. Also important to note with that last, the air ABCs, working on range of motion, active range of motion, that is in the flexibility side of on the pyramid. And important things to note is Alyssa may feel some tingling kind of in her toes as she's doing that, which is nothing to worry about. It's just kind of getting that range of motion back, so you might feel some tingling during that stage. And also when to stop is if you feel any pain at any moment, or stop immediately. We'll reassess and move backwards, because if you keep trying to push through the pain, if it's like really painful, really sharp, then we could end up moving backwards and re-damaging the ligament, and we don't want to do that. So moving into the next exercise will be assisted calf raises, modified using the table. So as you can see here, let's flip the camera around. I have, how do we flip this? Here at the table, we're gonna get going on these assisted calf raises. So what I want you to do is, in a controlled, assisted manner, put about, let's say, 60 to 70% of your body weight on the injured, so we'll say the left foot here, and I just want you to go up and down slowly, just like that, and going down slowly to focus on the eccentric contraction, and also, the up part of the motion is working the concentric contraction. You shouldn't feel any pain during this. If you feel any pain, let me know, and we will stop and reassess and lighten the load on that. But we're going to do this for about 8 to 12 reps for 2 sets. The reason we're going 8 to 12 reps is to emphasize the muscular endurance here, as muscular endurance is classified by high reps and low force, weight, or resistance. We can, an easy way to tell when we can progress to the next exercise is if this is becoming too easy for Alyssa. If her rests or her breaks in between sets are really short, like 30 seconds, ready to go again, obviously then we know she has more left in the tank. So yeah, the rests in between are going to be, let's say, 2 to 3 minutes as needed. We're trying not to take like a 5-minute break, because that'll kind of defeat the purpose and give her, a pretty good rest. But yeah, some sensations you could be feeling, just a burning in your calf from, working it out there. You shouldn't be feeling any pain at all. So let me know if you are. But yeah, that's the assisted calf raise in the strength and endurance portion of the pyramid, focusing primarily on muscular endurance. And last but not least will be the proprioception exercise. So basically, proprioception will fit into the balance, coordination, and agility section of the rehabilitation therapeutic exercise pyramid. Proprioception defined has 3 points: the agility, balance, and coordination. So for this, this takes place after the muscular strength and endurance section on the pyramid. So these have all been sequential. So flexibility first, strength and endurance, now proprioception, starting to really build the strength and functionality around the injury. So for the first example, for the first exercise, we're going to do a stork stand. Eyes open, just regular stork stand. I will explain that to Alyssa, and then we're going to progress to a stork stand with a Bosu ball, which kind of combines balance and coordination on a more extreme level. And the reason I chose Bosu ball is because some of those balance tools, equipment, like the balance board, wobble board, are pretty extreme, and I wouldn't want to fall and get a rolling action. But with the Bosu ball, there's good grip with your bare foot and provides good stability. So stork stand, we're going to stand on one leg like this, just hands to the side, lifting one leg for 20 seconds. We're going to hold that. 20 is just kind of a basic hold for balance. 20 to 30 seconds is what's prescribed. So we're going to do that for 20 seconds. And if you're feeling any pain, let me know. I'll stop that right away. We don't want to move backwards, but yeah, you're just going to hold that for 20. You're doing good. Hands to the side. It's good. Knee doesn't have to be at 90 degrees or anything. And then just imagine that this is a Bosu ball. And so we're going to now do that same thing, stork stand, but standing on the pillow, Bosu ball, for 20 seconds again. And yeah, that concludes the project. And that's why we did the things that we did there. So progressions after that would include just getting more functional training. So and sport specific. So the last one is obviously we want to get return to play. Sorry, I lost my light there. That's why I clicked it back on. And yeah, progressing there. But that's it for Cale Brown's KNES 3850 video project.